I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body.
Well, just make sure that it's still recording.
I know. I paused when it shut down, and then I started.
Oh, boo! So
well,
he
I didn't
doesn't
know
leave
how
us
long I was going to be
unsupervised
going.
Mike.
Either way, so I said before we get started on TV show talk, I wanted to discuss the Ezra Miller situation and how it has evolved. For those who don't know, obviously Ezra Miller, star of such things as The Flash, and has been in the Fantastic Beasts movies as it goes. And by the way, the Flash movie, let me specify that, not the TV show. Been in the new DC
And he was in
Flash.
Justice League and all that shit.
Yeah. He's the Flash in the movies, I'll put it that way. He's been in other things as well. And I'm saying he because I don't want to just get all confused on pronouns and stuff. We'll just be easier on ourselves here. Been in plenty of trouble, getting into somewhat violent altercations with many people over the last year. Actually, like three at least at the beginning of this year. And I think the story has gone really insane because nobody knows where he is right now.
Really, dude, he's on some farm in Vermont or some shit like that with his family.
Yeah, apparently holding up with a woman and her 2 or 3 kids, something like that.
That's new. I haven't heard that in the last.
Yeah, that came out like a couple days ago.
Like guns laying all over the place with fucking the kids' toys next to the loaded guns and stuff like that.
Okay, because the last time, last update I had, sorry, that's news to me, literally, is that
was the running with the 14-year-old.
He was running, 18-year-old currently, but his
the grooming or whatever,
the person or girl that he had, running from the police. Or
can't catch me, I'm in another universe.
Yep, can't catch me, I'm in another universe. Deleted his social media. But basically, the whole situation with y'all have to inform me or fill me in on that part because I hadn't seen that update since yesterday. But the whole concept was, at least with this, was that 8 years ago. I forgot exactly how the connection happened, but he met with this family and kind of developed a relationship with their 12-year-old daughter. And then from there, basically just over a few years, has been giving said daughter drugs, alcohol, all kinds of things. Over times being visited. And then once she turned 18, they came out as either non-binary or the opposite gender, whatever. Either way, I don't remember the exact thing. And then it ran off together, essentially, and just disappeared into the wild. After, I believe, a restraining order had already been filed because he was violent with her parents, along with a different family that also filed a restraining order. I believe that was all in Hawaii.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Right?
In a bar.
N.Y.M.I.A, bitches.
I know.
Go ahead, Jerry.
So I know the family that he ended up grooming the kid with.
Yes.
They had said they were living on a reservation at the time.
Yeah, they're I don't know which indigenous.
They're Native
tribe.
American.
I know, but I don't know what. To be out of my head, I don't know, because her last name was Iron Eyes. I think it was Takata or Dakota Iron Eyes, something like that was her given name, and then tossed that name aside and renamed and regendered herself shortly before running away with Ezra. And then that's the last I knew of it, but obviously there's been more developments since then.
Apparently he's offering haven to a woman and her 3 kids on a Vermont farm. And apparently, some sources claim that the property is scattered with unsecured firearms. So, and that was reported by Rolling Stone on the 23rd. So apparently, Rolling Stone claims to have learned of the living arrangements after 2 sources close to the situation reached out to the entertainment news outlet. And what was it? Basically, they voiced their concern about the safety of the woman's children and the 3 kids who are between 1 to 5 years old.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
they said, supposedly there was like loaded guns stacked up right next to their children's toys on the floor and shit.
So
Yeah.
one of the kids, like the 1-year-old, had a
Just
bullet in
swallowed
their
a
mouth.
bullet or something. Yeah.
25-year-old
that.
mother and her 3. How did that even come about? How did it just completely change? How did the story
I
just go
haven't
from
the
one
faintest
thing to
idea.
something completely unrelated? That's insane.
I don't know.
He's the
Dude,
Flash. He
it's-
moves pretty fast.
This, yes.
Yeah. Well,
So
nice.
wait, he's
That
got
was-
a 96-acre property. That's his particular place.
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck?
It's apparently a sizable cannabis farm
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
just read that.
supposedly
too.
on
weed
the
out the
property.
back.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently the woman's ex-husband was violent and abusive, supposedly,
Yeah.
and he's giving them safe haven. But that is so fucking random.
Yeah.
Dude.
Now, apparently, the mother denies the claims that her family are in any sort of danger, right? Which is, I don't know, again, rather bizarre. So, and
Yeah,
apparently,
we know Mike
Ezra
will
Mi-
believe her.
Well,
yeah,
here's-
and apparently, Ezra Miller's home ranch, apparently, she said, has been a healing haven for us. And there may be firearms for self-defense purposes, and they're stored in a part of the house where the children never go in. And then she goes on to say something like, my kids are able to relax more in their healing because of the safety and nurturing Ezra has provided for them.
Mike doesn't believe it because it's a chick saying it.
well, here's
No. I mean, I believe it, but at some point you got to wonder, is there some sort of really weird Stockholm syndrome brainwashing kind of thing going on?
probably.
Right?
I mean, it could be that extreme,
know.
or it could also just be she was being beaten by her husband, and he offered to let her use the farm, and he just happens to grow weed out back of it.
Well, I mean,
Could
that
just
could
be
be
that
too, right?
Mhm.
It's like,
But that's
how
not
do
as
you
sensational as the story, though.
No, but I mean, how do you know what the actual truth is, considering the weird and wacky way Ezra Miller has been behaving over the past few months?
I would go with the
Whoa.
words that the person is saying, probably.
Well, here's-
more
well,
than what
okay,
the
so-
newspaper
Yeah, I mean, you
wrote.
have to kind of give them the benefit
So-
of the doubt.
So hold on, I'm reading this as you guys have been talking, reading the Rolling Stone article. So
okay.
the woman has been involved in a divorce issue with the husband. They came from Hawaii. He flew them from Hawaii to where is it? North Carolina, Vermont.
No,
Sorry,
Vermont.
yeah. So I read it
Yeah.
there. And apparently they've been there for a while. This is not a new situation. He's been
That's what I'm saying.
trying.
It's just being added in because
Yeah, it's
they're
being
doing all
added in
this
because-
Ezra Miller's crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
playing off that what he's doing now is not normal.
No,
normal.
this just came out.
But what I'm
because
saying,
of
this
yeah.
might have been something that he had done a while ago while he was still acting sane. This doesn't sound negative. This feels like the
the
news
only
articles are trying to put a spin on it.
yeah.
But then again,
here-
Rolling Stone. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Let me get this out of here. So here's the thing. Depending on as I'm reading through this, because apparently the wife said that the husband was violent, but the husband has actually filed things against her.
Yeah.
She should
We
not
all
have been
know
able
better
to
than
leave.
just to straight up believe it.
Yeah, but when cases like that are happening, especially when there are children involved, you're not allowed to leave the state with those kids. Kids can't.
It depends. It depends on timing, because I just went through this with my divorce of my kids a few years ago.
Yeah.
If divorce
Oh.
proceedings have already started, you are not allowed to leave the state with them. But if she left the state with them before he filed or before she filed, then there's really
Right.
nothing they can do. Or if it directly contradicts an in-place court order. So if the court says she can't move more than 100 miles away from her added location or whatever like that, then she couldn't do it. But if she left before all that started, technically there's really nothing he can do about it except for fight in court, win, and get the kids back.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the issue is that they're not married in the first place. They're a
That
domestic
doesn't matter.
couple.
If his
I know,
name
but I'm
is on
saying-
the
But I think the problem is because it is a domestic case, but they were filing paternity.
custody paperwork.
No, not
yeah.
even that. They're filing for the paternity to make sure that he's even the father.
Right.
Well, then
And,
that
she,
case, then
and
it
she's
really-
run off
it
with the
really wouldn't
kids. It's like
Yeah.
Well.
it's there's not even nuance here. This is just straight up complicated. So like
Yeah, if they're not even sure that he's the father and all that, she can move wherever the fuck she wants to, and until the court says differently.
well, the
As long-
court
I said,
also
as long as
put
she
it
did
on hold. It's just complicated.
As long as she
Jesus.
did it before the court shit had started, because if not, then she's fleeing the court proceedings, and then she'll get in trouble for that.
From what I just read, it showed that they hold on. In May 2021, they were already dealing with shit. So,
But when did she move over to Ezra's place? Is what I'm saying.
Earlier
like,
this
was
year.
that in,
so
so yeah. Now she
Yeah.
might be in trouble for that.
yeah. So there. I mean, other than that, the fact that he may or may not have an illegal pot farm because he's seemingly, they said it's only a few plants. Apparently, there's a fuckload of stuff going on there, and he does not have a license. There's like 25 licensed weed growers in that state. He's not one of them,
Yeah.
but apparently he has a pretty sizable weed farm. So that's an interesting problem. Either way,
I think one thing that guy does not need is a hallucinogenic in his bloodstream.
well,
Yeah,
one
no,
thing I'm
that-
really trying to understand, just
Can't
looking
run
through
that
this,
off.
this article is just about them, but it doesn't seem like he's there. Like,
No,
I think they're
it's like he
still
let them borrow
looking
the
for
place,
them. Yeah. So they're still looking for him and like I said, Dakota. I
The
think
14-year-old,
18-year-old.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
is
that's what
they're
I-
just throwing this out there
this
to
is
try
just
to
in there
add more
too.
fuel to the fire. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's
got
this
in
was
the middle of
pre
it.
all that other bad shit.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
this is just insane in and of its own right. It might have been
I
a
mean-
perfectly good thing. However, it's caught up in some already complicated legal issues. Personally, I don't think I would want myself and my kids to be caught on an illegal pot farm that belongs to someone else. Because that's a hard thing.
I'm gonna put it this way: if it's the difference between going based on its fact, if it's the difference between her getting her ass beat by her ex in front of her kids and living on an illegal pot farm, I think I would take the pot farm.
I mean, I
but
guess.
that's also a thing too. Did he actually?
Yeah,
That's why I said going by its fact. you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm saying,
Well,
if it's fact, then that's the lesser
there's
of two
allegations.
evils. If
That
it's-
all I could see,
yeah,
was,
if
all I
it's
could see was
bullshit-
allegations. There was no.
Yeah, if it's bullshit, then she's just dumb. She's a dumb person. But
Yeah.
she says shit like sitting on a farm and healing and shit like that. That's, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
very,
But I
shit.
mean, also,
yeah.
if your kids are sitting around with like we talked about gun control and keeping guns secured and stuff
Yep.
like that around children.
You already know
last
how I
week.
feel about guns. We had that conversation.
So, I mean, there may or may not be a litany of laws being broken in this particular situation. Either way, it just makes it already crazy complication. So,
And again, it wouldn't surprise me if this lady got a hold of a newspaper like after all that Ezra Miller shit started, just trying to get her story out there. And,
Yeah.
like, trying to connect herself to the Ezra
Well,
Miller thing. Like,
what
oh yeah, Ezra did let me use this farm, so I'm gonna contact the news and be like, oh, by the way, he also did this to us, and we're over here now.
I think there was
Yeah.
it seemed like there was a video that got released that might have been how this was found out in the first place.
Yeah,
But-
because
but
they
here's
talk
the
about
thing.
pictures. They
Yeah.
talk
Because-
about pictures of the guns.
Yeah,
dude, as
exactly.
well.
Because now I'm thinking that she's probably trying to maybe even
What-
get some sort of sympathy vote
Well, yeah,
publicly, obviously.
but
She could be.
what if she
It's
didn't
possible.
know anything about his craziness and just said, "Oh, cool, I'll come stay on your farm if it gets me out of the situation," and now all this shit is going down, and you're like,
Well, this is a segue,
Maybe I
y'all,
better-
because
yeah.
of what you just said. It kind
Maybe I
of
better
works
think about
towards
Plan B.
the main overall story of Ezra Miller. I honestly and truthfully believe, looking at it and reading it and listening about it and stuff, I think he might be bipolar or something.
very
And it really, like, when you have those swings like that, he could have been in
Or
one of his
borderline.
positive swings.
could be
Yeah,
borderline.
he could have been in one of his positive swings and like, hey man, you're super fucked up. I have this farm that I don't use. Let me get you and your kids over there. And then he immediately had a swing to the other side, and now he's in this other crazy shit.
Yeah,
That's how bipolar works. Is those swings are
They're
almost
massive.
instantaneous, and they're massive. They can be massive.
yeah.
They can be little, but they can be massive
I've-
too. He could have
I've
literally
known-
dropped her at the farm, turned around, drove off the property, and immediately swung into, oh my God, she was in trouble. I had to save her. Well, now I got to go save this 18-year-old and run away with her and find some place to hide her, but I can't take her to the farm because I just left them there. So now we got to go somewhere else. And that manic kicks in, and man, it could be all kinds of next level stuff, because it seems almost every issue he's had that's been coming up, like with the fighting and all that stuff,
Mhm.
alcohol and drugs have been involved, and people with bipolarism, alcohol and drugs actually escalate those,
Oh, of
those
course.
mood swings.
Of course.
What if
So-
it's some sort of alternate personality emerging?
No.
I'm not even going to go that far into
that's thinking
dissociative
that he
identity
is
disorder.
actually some sort of superhero
Yeah.
having to quote unquote save these people.
He's Moon Knight.
Right?
Well, now you're talking dissociative identity disorder, but I'm talking people with bipolarism. A lot of people with mental health issues.
No, I know.
Since
Yeah,
they can't fix themselves, since they realize that there's something wrong with themselves and they
feel
can't
like they have
fix
to
it,
fix others.
they
Yeah.
try to help others.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they can proactively help somebody else because what's wrong with them
and
is
helping
something
others
they can't
helps
control.
them,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
No, exactly.
They help themselves.
But then
by doing that.
it all depends on which part of that swing it falls in on and what all is going on at the same time. And like,
Yep.
it's to me, it's scary. I don't think it's okay. It's not an excuse for his actions or his behaviors. If he's endangering somebody, that's big bad no. The grooming thing is assumptions being made, but let's say that's also true.
Well,
none of this is excusing of it.
Well, he did take a very unhealthy interest in a 12-year-old girl and gave said young underage person drugs and alcohol against the wishes of their parents.
When you were in high school, did you ever drink with anybody?
Nope.
You never drank with anybody when you were in high school?
Nope.
I was squares.
I was a square. But the thing is,
Wow.
I also didn't have a TV/movie star paying attention to me. You know, that's a different.
But,
I mean, he was
again,
minor
you take it to the
then.
extreme. It could literally just be he gave her drinks. He was drinking with her, which is bad in and of itself. But that doesn't mean.
I'm trying to remember if he gave her coke.
Else.
He gave her something. He gave her some type of heavy drugs at some point. Yeah. Do you know, Jerry?
I don't know offhand.
Okay.
All I really know is that at one point during the relationship, they never really specify when, he did actively pull a firearm on her parents.
Yes, did do that. Well, there was another family that's the other one has a restraining order that he, by whatever way, ran into. They had nice conversation, stuff like that. He ended up getting, and this is when he's still a minor celebrity, not even where near now. And I guess, just through means of being cordial or whatever, social interaction, said, hey, y'all come over, have dinner with the family. We're going to have family game night. Just come hang out. And apparently due to, I've never played the game Parcheesi. Have y'all?
I've never with my grandmother.
Okay. So I don't have any.
One with the pegs?
I don't think so.
No, it's a card game.
Yeah, it's a card game. Apparently he really flipped out on something one of the other people, whatever card that the other person played, and that's what started the road towards the thing, like a violent outburst at just what the other card was or whatever it said, something like that. And it wasn't anything against him directly, but he took it as an attack and then blew up. If you've watched any of the videos of his arrest where he starts yelling, I'm a non-binary trans individual, don't touch me or whatever, that kind of stuff, that played into that same thing even all those years ago. So, and
all those things check boxes on being bipolar and stuff.
Or like I said, either bipolar or borderline personality disorder, which has a lot of similar symptoms, violent outburst, not just mood swings, but like enormous temperament changes, things like that, random behaviors, maybe even like hoarding can be in there as well. I don't know if that's anything he suffers from, but either way, Ezra needs major help. And not in the hand-holding, let them have their way because he's special kind of situation help, like legitimate mental health or mental help. Because at this point, he's hurting people, or at least threatening to hurt people, and that's not good. Like, forget the fact it's ruining his career.
He's also harming himself. Like, forget the career part. He can hurt somebody else. He can hurt himself. Like, all this can lead to an escalation point where he could be having a face-off with armed police officers and stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's not an excuse for his behavior. It's just an understanding. It's not a justification of what he's doing. Exactly. All those things that we've been talking about, all those things fall under how a person with a mental disorder would act.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he does. That doesn't mean he does have a mental disorder. I'm just saying it is possible too. So when people overreact and like, burn him at the stake, maybe not. Let's try to get him back okay and get the kid back okay and then get him help. Like, there's other options.
At a bare minimum, there's got to be at least some type of substance abuse issue.
Yes, very much so.
And
that's
frightening enough.
It's because, I mean, with all these weird, God, how should I even put it? Like with all the recent, quote unquote gun problems, and that, like, there just seems to be an explosion of mental health issues. Almost, I don't want to say all of a sudden,
it's been
but
over
it
the
seems
last
like
3 years.
Yeah,
since COVID.
So you have to start to wonder. Besides COVID, you have to really start to wonder what's going on. There's something going on.
It's the
surely,
vaccine, Mike. It was the vaccine. That's what's doing it.
I think even before the vaccine. But I mean, I don't know. I just get that spidey sense kind of tingling that there's something else going on here.
I think part
to
of
the
it,
general public.
Part of it is
it's not good.
When we've talked about the mental health aspects when it came to like Amber Heard and abusive relationships like that. We talked about that before. But like when it comes to something like this where you're not abusing a spouse, but you're abusing everyone else around you.
Yeah.
It's a similar issue. And because you have a certain level of fame, you're treated very differently. You're handled very differently. Like if in certain circumstances, other actors and actresses have had outbursts and issues with drugs and alcohol, and they were essentially canceled very quickly from movies or TV shows or anything like that. As soon as things started getting fishy, everything that has happened with Ezra just this year, and it only took till this past week for Warner Brothers to finally say, yeah, we're done with him as the Flash after the Flash movie.
Yep. Yeah, but they're saying after the Flash movie. My question is,
still...
when's the breaking point of them removing him from the Flash movie? Because I want it to come out.
You can't remove him.
If they could reshoot the parts with him in it, because I want that 89 Batman. God bless you.
Somebody.
I want Michael Keaton on screen again as Batman.
I mean,
I would be pissed if they scrapped the whole movie.
He's
just
in it.
re-record the movie. They've already bumped it back 4 years. You might as well reshoot it.
I mean, you literally would have to
two characters.
He plays himself. He plays multiple Barry Allens just within the movie. So I mean, like he in the trailer.
I just don't want them. I just don't want them to scrap the whole thing. That's what I'm afraid of. Is they're like, okay, you know what, Ezra Miller's gone too far. We're going to completely have to cancel this whole entire movie. And
I would. They won't just cancel the entire thing. I mean, it's happened before.
I mean, I would, but that's just a reactionary feel. Like, to me, let the movie come out. At this point, it doesn't matter. Take away his money from it because of, say like, look, now he's doing felonies. We're not going to support that. Sorry, we're canceling your contract. Go through whatever it takes to fucking get his ass out of there so you don't have to pay him another dime for anything for that character ever again, or even his characters in, because it's still WB when it comes to the Harry Potter shit, So he's got a lot of contracts with WB. So I mean, if they're gonna part ways with Amber Heard over the shit that happened there, they need to part way with him.
Look what they did with Johnny Depp. They dumped him.
Yeah, that's Disney. That was Disney and WB. Both dumped him on accusations.
No, I'm talking about he was in the Harry Potter stuff.
No, I know.
He was in the Harry Potter stuff with Ezra Miller.
Well, I know, but I'm saying he was canceled from both. He was canceled by Disney and WB. So he was canceled from...
Now he's already... And ever since all this Amber Heard trial shit got finished, he's already back in talks to be Jack Sparrow again now.
Yeah, I just don't think
they're talking about doing an animated series or something with him doing the
voice. Just doing the voice? I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, I'm thinking that... What was it? Robert Downey Jr. also wants to put him in Sherlock 3, I believe it is, as well.
They're still making those.
Yeah,
I still want that third one, man. Those two movies are fucking amazing. I watch them at least once every 6 months or so.
They're pretty good.
Never seen them.
They were great.
No, they are
great
good.
Movies.
Hashtag not my Sherlock.
What'd you say?
I said hashtag not my Sherlock.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's only one.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be one over the other. They're better than the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes. Those movies are fucking boring as shit now.
And I'm sure it's way better than, what is it? Elementary? Was that the name of the show?
Oh God!
I never watched it. My wife liked it.
It's so garbage.
I never watched it. My wife liked it.
Garbage.
Like, how that existed alongside the BBC Sherlock, I don't know.
Yeah,
because one was American and one was BBC.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
I just no. Sorry, no.
So
I would put it under Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock. But very close to tie.
Talking about the movies.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.